everybody, we are at the top of Goyt Valley. We are next to the Grimshaw family graves. Now, the Grimshaws lived here from the mid 19th century, 1830s, up until the 1930s, so this grand hall only stood for 100 years. But I'm doing the intro here because I want to talk about the valley, the reservoir, sorry. Now down there used to be Goyt Valley, the village, the town, had schools, churches, shops, and it was filled in to basically like reservoirs. Peak District has lots of valleys to make drinking water. Sorry for the rain. Now, a lot of the valleys you see in the Peak District, or the reservoirs, I keep saying valleys, are man-made. Probably most famous is Lady Bower, where Guy Gibson and the bouncing bomb practice happened. It's also famous because these reservoirs, when there's dry seasons, the irony, you can see the origins of the old town. Lady Bower, the most famous, the church steeple pops up, and here you can see the old road when the water levels fall. And I'll send you a couple of pictures of a chap on YouTube did a video of an old ordnance survey map and the town. I find it quite weird. Now at the bottom there you would have had Errwood Cottage, which would have been at the start of the long winding road up to the hall. All that was demolished to make way, and it was hopefully going to be one of the Lady Bower one was going to be on this feature of 5 horrors and hauntings, but alas, it's been raining a lot. But I wanted to point that out, so it's quite important to point out that all this, once upon a time down there, was towns and villages, and now not so much. But the question I had, and I don't know if you have it, is it was demolished, and it was demolished pretty much straight away. There's nothing left of it. They pumped the reservoir, knocked this down. There's stories about how they used some of the stone from here for the reservoir. But why did they leave bits? Just like little bits of it. And I can't find a definitive reason. But other than for what we're doing now, just for people to have a look at and see what used to be here. Only one family ever lived here. It was their pride and joy. It was generations worth of family, and once they were finished with it, they destroyed it. And if you look around, vegetation, there's some unusual plants and flowers. This all would have been in the grounds. We're now in the house as you look. But around it, if you see all the more, apparent in spring, the family planted all the plants and all the trees because they last a long time and they remain, but the humans don't. So that's why there's some unusual flowers and plants here. Right, I'm going to try and find the family graves. So, out of all the videos I've seen of this place, this is the most overgrown I've seen it. I was looking for these steps. I'm on my way back, and because there's some pictures, I'll show you some pictures. It's from that video that guy did. Yeah, let me flip you around. Can you imagine the family coming out of their house? Went up the path, walking up here, absolutely stunning location. Would have done it. Family had it for 100 years, so thousands of times that they would have walked up here. So there's people come here for horrors and hauntings, and people come down the road a little bit to the hall for festivals and ghost hunts. The ghosts are because it's pretty eerie. We're up high in one of the peaks in Goyt Valley, and a graveyard just randomly in amongst all the shrubs is a bit weird. It's said to be haunted by the grandchildren of Stanley Grimshaw. Now, the hall, it was arranged by Stockport Northern Waters or something, the people that did the reservoir. It was arranged with the grandchildren before they died that they would buy it and they would demolish this. They needed to fill in Goyt village, and so there was no real access to this hall. The road was down in the reservoir, and so I think it was Mary Grimshaw and Guinevere Grimshaw, I might have totally made that up, and they never had kids, so the generations of the Grimshaws kind of stopped, and they agreed to sell in their lifetime that when they died, the Stockport reservoir water people, they could take possession of the hall. People come here all year round for their ghost hunts. Actually, it is pretty eerie, but I just thought it would be a beautiful little walk, and the last of the tales of horrors and hauntings in Derbyshire. That is definitely it, so happy Halloween, take it easy. So I'm going to say, like, the horrors of this place are, I imagine at night it's pretty creepy, but I think it's just to think that a whole generation of family lived here, the Grimshaws, like you and I live, and Stanley built this hall for his family to grow, and they did, and they died, and they're no longer here. Maybe the true horror of this video is that everything ends. Sorry to bring you down. Went up the path.